Hey family, one love, what's up? Just Tree here, one love. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Just having a beautiful day myself, working in the garden, doing some coaching calls. And the coaching call went late, so I wasn't on time for my 4 o'clock juicing with Jesse, but wanted to show up still, share a recipe. At least probably be short today because it's just springtime. Busy working on my garden here, working in other gardens, doing coaching, doing classes. So trying to maintain a balance, and I'm gonna go do my gateway tapes. But got a recipe for you today. I'm making a coconut milk chocolate medicinal mushroom probiotic elixir for my dessert. That's usually what I'll do is I'll start with fruit juice, slash green juice, and have like kombucha and superfoods and herbal teas, and then have like a nut milk drink with some lettuce or seaweed in there. So I just blended up. I spared everybody the loud blender and just blended up a cup of coconut with 4 cups of water, and just gonna rinse out the Vitamix here. Stay with me, family. Share a little bit of the thoughts going on with me right now. Welcome, Gurnice. I can't even read that, it's so long. Gurney CEO, welcome. So, for sharing some of the heart and mind thoughts that's been going on with me, so what I'm doing now is then just straining the coconut meat through a nut milk bag. So I find this to be a lot lighter and a lot better on the belly than like the canned cooked coconut milk. This is closer to raw, and the way they do it a lot in Jamaica is just with the coconut shreds. Excuse me for a minute here. Gonna rinse out the lid because all the fat gets all kind of stuck in the lid. So yeah, I like to use a little bit of fats in my diet. I mostly try to keep it super high fruit and super raw, but occasionally I incorporate nut milks, and I think it's a good way to get, rather than using oils, kind of align more with like the 80-10-10 vibe. Just strain that out. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I have not felt inclined to jump. I was real fired up, still am, about health coaching and sharing and teaching, but because of my high volume of work right now, just not been called to be online. It's too hard energetically to fit in here. Dump this stuff for my chickens. Compost bucket. And I'm thinking about everybody out there working, trying to maintain some semblance of peace in the midst of all kinds of economic trials. And I just wanted to chant a couple of things of positivity or solutions-based thinking into your consciousness, of if we ground into our bodies and learn to regulate our nervous system, if we work with land, doing permaculture, wildcrafting, natural building, what have you, if you practice the breatharian arts and get into the vibe of autonomy and sovereignty, then these trying times, you have a firm foundation, something to depend on. And they say if the tree is deeply rooted, the wind will not uproot it. So that's the thing, is to root into ourselves, root into nature and the things that are firm in this time, and we can totally thrive. And even in the times of like the Great Depression, there were people who became millionaires, you know. And so it's about our consciousness and hooking on creatively to find solutions for our community. So thinking about that, also thinking about, been studying a lot about, you know, the UFOs, the pyramid stuff, you know, the megalithic pyramids of the earth have always captured my fascination. I think there was a time in our distant past where we were closer to the galactic center and we were the pyramid builders. We were able to do telekinesis, telepathy, etc. And, you know, as I understand it, there's this elliptical orbit that the solar system goes on away from the galactic center, and the far reaches of which is the Kali Yuga that we've been swinging back since 2012, and we're being washed in light, and it's waking up our DNA, it's waking up pranic powers, it's waking up telepathy, especially in autistic nonverbal children, and I think we're on the sort of the precipice of the quickening, where all of us are going to open up our consciousness to the interdependence of all things, into the loving vibration of the oneness, and there'll be no hiding from one another anymore in that. And that's why we're all doing all this work, prepping our bodies and prepping our consciousness with meditation and shamanic plant use, and, you know, raw food diets and fasting and all the different things, right? So, because we're getting ready, shift's gonna hit the fan, family, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna lead to a higher vibration. So, especially if we can practice these things of grounding our nervous system through breath work, you know, through cleansing and fortifying our temple for resilience and for consciousness, then all these transitions and changing light codes are just going to be a rising of bliss awareness if we can get into the vibe. And as my friend Devon, the Black Airbender, says, fear is just excitement without the breath. So bear that in mind, family. So on with the recipe. So now I got my beautiful coconut milk, alkaline, you know, raw. And it's rather cheap this way. It's much cheaper than buying it in the store. Super fresh. So I'll take a couple of cups of that in the Vitamix. Maybe just a wee bit more. And so this is the coconut I'm using. Not that I like hawk it or anything, but just in case you're wondering. And then I like the alkaline Dutch processed cacao, because this actually shows 7 or more, and on the pH scale. So this is, you know, an alkaline form of chocolate. Greetings, Raw Jules, Cosmic Key Maker. What's up, brother? My inner light grants the faith. Yes, faith is one of those things that you do completely not knowing, you know, with the outcome. There's the lack of control, there's the whole giving over, the allowing, and I think that's what we're all like learning. And as we do, we will have the recrystallization of our original consciousness, which we're all brilliant, we're all imbued with that higher self of Jah, the Buddha mind, bodhicitta, you know, bliss awareness is your true nature, and everything we're experiencing is just obscurations based on our karmic accumulations. Anyway, maple syrup, giant jug of maple syrup. This is like the one sweetener I use. I use this, and I use this monk fruit to sweeten anything. So, yes, brother, tough line on the track. You too, a reflection sees, you know. So, blessed be that we have more brothers and sisters awakening into the oneness vibration and realizing the heart's doing the work, being disciplined. You know, this is the way forward. Connection with nature, connection with ourselves. That's how we're going to get through. Because we're all imbued with infinite potential, resilience, resources, creativity, and sometimes we just need it teased out. And I think that's what these terms are doing. So then I like to add reishi extract. I suggest you get a 10x at least, and you want to get 2,000 milligrams for an effective dose. All right. And I was just learning that the beta glucans, which are the anti-cancer, medicinal, immune enhancing attributes of reishi, are also available in things like oats and seaweeds. But those beta glucans are effective for detoxifying microplastics out of the body. So good stuff to incorporate, family. Then I also got some cordyceps mushroom. Once again, 2,000 milligrams for an effective dose for one day. And with all herbs and medicinal mushrooms, ideally you want to work with them for 4 to 6 weeks to get maximum benefit. So these are ones I've been lingering on for a while. And this is a big stash. This will last forever. So yeah. And then I like to incorporate some of our Purium Biomedic. This is the only probiotic on the market that's clinically proven to take glyphosate out of the body. And if you don't know what glyphosate is, it was Agent Orange in Vietnam, used to clear the jungles, and it's this very strong antibiotic that destroys the microbiome of the soil, whereas your microbiome has been linked with cancer, and it is the most heavily sprayed chemical on the planet. And it's an endocrine disruptor, so it affects our nervous system, our thinking. It's something we gotta get out. Gotta say no. Boundaries. All right. So one of those, and then just a little bit of salt, and I'll just gently. My elixir for tomorrow, my little dessert. I have this nice chocolate medicinal mushroom yumminess. And just rinse out all that good stuff. Yes, family, so thank you all for being with me today. I'm going to keep this short because I still got prep to do for tomorrow's works. And I got all this cleanup to do here now. But I wanted to share that recipe, wanted to connect with y'all. I wanted to chant this vibration. Things are becoming undone because that's what has to happen for something better to arise. Nature never leaves a vacuum, and if there's a placeholder, it can never change. So we've had this thing going on. We know our culture is toxic. We know it's in our last throes. We're addicted to it like someone who's abused is addicted to the relationship with their abuser, and it's gotta go. And that way we can live in righteousness, in our birthright of being cosmic kings and queens, completely sovereign, creative, amazing gods and goddesses. So anyway, that's the vibe. Happy, we just had the full moon, so it's a great time for releasing old, starting new. All right. Blessed love, family. Be well. Have a beautiful day.